How do you stay calm when something is watching you every night? Because once it starts, you are never the same again. 3 years ago, everything in my life changed. At the time, I was a complete atheist. I didn't believe in spirits, gods, or aliens. Nothing. If it couldn't be measured or tested, and it wasn't proven by science, I rejected it. But something happened. Something I couldn't ignore. It started with the shadows. After COVID-19 hit, I had quit my job. I had made good money in crypto and just wanted the rest. I was working in EMS and it left me burnt out. But once I was home, things got strange. I'd catch movements in the corner of my eyes. At first I thought it was exhaustion, stress, but then it escalated. I started waking up at night feeling like I was being watched. In the corner of my room, always the same spot, a shadow, a shape, just there watching me. It happened for weeks. I honestly thought I'd gone insane. One night I decided to test it. I grabbed my dog and pointed her at the shadow. She walked right up to it. She sniffed the air right where it stood. That was the moment that everything shifted. This wasn't just me anymore. I started talking to it. I know you're here. What do you want? Why are you in my house? And that's when the dreams began. Every night when I slept, I found myself sitting on a beach. Always the same beach, the one I grew up visiting with my family. I'd be sitting on a chair, alone, and then he'd walk up. An old man, calm, peaceful. The first thing he said to me was, "Do you want to talk about the universe?" I said yes, and from there, the conversation started. He asked me questions I couldn't predict. Deep, strange things like, "Do you think water is alive?" I gave a logical answer and said no, not like plants or animals, and he challenged me. Everything a 3D being puts into his body is alive. You eat meat, you eat plants, all were once alive. Water gives you more life than food, so why assume it isn't alive too? I couldn't refute it. I didn't fully believe him, but something in me started shifting. This went on for 3 months, night after night, the same beach, the same man. But then one night, something changed. He told me something strange. The galaxy isn't just spinning, it's an upwards vortex, and your planet is rising through the dimensions. That's when I felt it. I wasn't dreaming, I was conscious. I was thinking clearly, right there in that moment. And I suddenly knew I was still in bed. Somehow, I was awake within the dream. I turned to him and said, "How is this happening? How am I thinking like this? I don't understand." And that's when it happened. He gave me this massive shit-eating grin, like he'd been waiting for me to catch up. And then he finally said, "Finally catching on, huh? It's time to wake up." I stared at him, still confused. How can I be thinking and conscious in a dream? And that's when he answered, "You're not asleep, my friend. If you want to keep going, you'll need to start meditating. If you do that, I'll come back." After that night, he was gone. No more beach, no more man, and no more shadows in my room. But I was different. The experience shook something loose inside me. Even if it was all in my head, I missed him. I needed to find out what was happening, so I started to meditate. The meditation started slow, but over time he came back. Not in dreams, not in visions, but during meditation I could feel him. And when I focused hard enough, he spoke to me again. This time, it wasn't just questions. He started teaching me, telling me things that he said were the truths of the universe. He said that there are over 500 advanced civilizations in the Milky Way alone, and that the Galactic Federation is very real. He told me 113 of these civilizations have already proven the existence of what you call God, or what we call the Source. The 114th, that will be yours, humanity's. He said that we are rare and deeply curious. that we'll discover proof in a way that no other race has. Then he told me about one of the experiments. He said that they had developed a technology that could tag a consciousness using quantum entanglement. To them, consciousness isn't local. It doesn't belong in the brain. It exists outside of the body. So they waited. They didn't kill anyone. They just let the tagged beings live out the rest of their lives naturally. Then they watched as every single one returned to the same location in the universe after death, and then re-entered a new body later. Reincarnation was confirmed, and they physically retrieved the tags from the same souls reborn. He explained how Earth is now moving into what they call the fourth dimensional space, a real physical transition, not just spiritual. He told me that our galaxy is shaped like a vortex, and as it spins, we rise upwards into higher dimensional zones. He said, your solar system is approaching a cluster of quasars at the galactic center, and those quasars emit powerful gravitational waves. Waves that, as they hit Earth, awaken people up, shifting consciousness, breaking illusions. He told me that Gaia, the Earth, is still alive, and she's changing too. Every person on the planet is now making a choice, a deep internal choice that only their higher self understands. Do you choose service to self or service to others? That's the real split. Most civilizations in the galaxy are one or the other, fully light or fully dark, but Earth is mixed. He said 5 to 10% have chosen service to self, about 60% will choose service to others, and around 20% will choose nothing at all because they're still clinging to duality. That's why this planet feels so intense, so filled with extremes of love and hate. It's all a mirror, a final test to choose. He told me over and over, love more, and when you think you've loved enough, stand up, walk across the room and love again. And he meant it literally. I started changing. No more chasing money, no more random hookups. I started praying to a God that I wasn't sure I believed in, just because this being was so sure of him. I started donating, volunteering, giving away money and time just because it felt right. I wasn't forcing kindness anymore, it was becoming me. And then one day, I hit something I can only describe as an elevated state. I wasn't reacting with anger anymore. One day, a random stranger screamed in my face, and I just smiled, and I told him, I love you, and I meant it. 3 years ago, I would have fought him. Now, I couldn't even get mad. But after a few weeks of that elevated state, it faded, and I fell back down. That's when I noticed the pain, the suffering around me, the people still asleep. And that's when he came back and said, start telling your story. Some things have changed and your voice will be needed later. I told him, why me? I've never even seen you. I have a reputation, a job. Why should I risk everything? Then one day, he showed up. I had just come home from a night shift, laying in bed. A flicker of light moved across my window like a car passing, but I didn't hear a car. I stared at the light, and it slowly transformed into a face. A praying mantis head right in front of me, clear, undeniable. I just looked at him and whispered, thank you for being my friend. I love you. He winked and then vanished. That night, he returned again, and the first thing he said to me was, well, you saw me, so start talking, bitch. I laughed out loud. Yeah, it seems they got a sense of humour. Since then, I've met 9 different species, and the message is the same. Tell your story. Don't convince, just plant the seed. They said, even reading these words will help people's subconscious during the shift. So I'm talking now, not because I feel special, not because I know it all, but because I was asked to, and because I changed. If this sounds crazy, I get it. I used to think so too, but I've lived it, and I'll leave you with this. Human beings are known for our straight lines, but there are no straight lines in nature. You invented them because of how your eyes evolved in 3D. You don't see the universe clearly, but that's okay, because you're learning to feel it instead. This is Eyes on the Sky. If something inside you stirred up while listening to this, maybe you're waking up too. Subscribe and keep looking up.